13 million hectares, or 2 Tasmanias, went underwater in the northwest. About 800 producers in the region are dealing with over 500,000 cattle and sheep deaths. Add in the cost to replace fences and farm equipment, and AgForce is estimating the losses could top $1 billion. Michael Guerin is the CEO of AgForce. Michael, how are farmers coping?
They're an incredibly resilient bunch, the graziers and people of the communities of the northwest. But unless you're in amongst it, you don't understand quite what they've got in front of them. They're finding it very tough, but they're doing very well considering what they face.
There's still so much water, especially around the Gulf of Carpentaria. How soon before you get a real handle on what the final cost and losses are going to be?
It'll be a number of weeks before we have a final number on both the cattle losses, but also the costs and the infrastructure damage that we need to face over the next few years, another couple of weeks.
The Prime Minister was in Julia Creek and Cloncurry yesterday, and while there wasn't any detail yet, he was hinting at further assistance to come from government. What have you asked for specifically?
Well, firstly, we want to acknowledge the governments for what they've done to date. So they've provided immediate relief, but there are 5 elements we seek going forward if we want to rebuild this industry. We need animals back on the land. We need the basic infrastructure allowing those animals to allow them to be grazed and looked after. We need support for small businesses in those communities so they can stay in those communities for the next number of years before the graziers come back on their feet fully. And we need support around education and households.
Just back to how this disaster unfolded, was there enough warning from the Bureau of Meteorology that all this rain and all this water was on its way?
There was very little, if any, warning that all this water was on its way. It's an unprecedented event. I talked to a grazier the other day whose family have held records for over 100 years and they've never seen anything like this before. It certainly surpasses the 74 floods. And one of the many learnings we'll have after this is how we can provide better warning for these weather events so that we can prepare better for them than we have this time. But the Bureau of Meteorology this time were not forecasting this event before it arrived.
So do you think they have questions to answer?
I think we all do. I think we've all been caught. The industry's been caught. The communities have been caught, and it was an unprecedented event.
And the cruel irony, I guess, in all of this is that in the coming days and weeks and months, there's actually going to be some green pasture for the first time in years.
Through the winter, the northwest will look wonderful as it dries out and that moisture and the plants respond. So we'd encourage Australians, if you're thinking about holidaying in Australia, come up to the northwest. It will look beautiful.
Michael Guerin, all the best, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you.